Live from the Pines, your favorite East Texas sports podcast. Coming at you live tonight. We have a special guest, the one and only from Corgan, Texas, John Cobb.
I am not from Crockett.
I almost said the crock pot, and then I had to realize you're from Corgan. Oh. So, it's just one of those things.
God's country.
Yeah.
Don't speed when you go through there.
Nope.
Hey, that Texas burger right there on the right, headed to Houston. It's a must stop sometimes.
Absolutely. They're I think it's called the Western Burger. It's one of the all-time favorites.
You can get a Philly cheesesteak in Corgan, Texas now if you didn't know.
No, we're not getting a Philly cheesesteak in Corgan.
Jalen and I ate a lot of
you got Charlie's right there.
Yeah.
No. We only go Texas Burger and Whataburger. You got the little Los Cerritos.
Los
Cerritos. Yeah, it's really good. My mom eats there about 5 days a week.
I bet you she does.
Supposedly their catfish is good.
Yeah,
no, that's the one in Diboll.
Friday nights.
Yeah, they do it at both.
Do they?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think so.
Well, Coach Cobb,
what's happening? Well, let's go. Let's get it on.
It's a pleasure to have you back on Live from the Pines. We really appreciate you doing this for us and coming to talk a little Lufkin baseball. As we get started, Coach Cobb, let's hear a little bit about your journey as a coach. And, you got to coach a little football. You coach a little baseball. Let's hear about John Cobb.
Well, let's see. I graduated from Corgan in 1998. I played high school football, high school baseball. We were really good in football my senior year. We were really good in baseball my senior year. Went to college to play baseball at Texas Lutheran in Seguin. It was a great fit for me. I loved every minute of it. Graduated college, went back to Corgan and coached for my high school coach, Todd York. And then he left and moved on, and I worked for Seven Armstrong for 2 years. So I was in Corgan for 3 years, and then I moved to Lufkin and coached at Lufkin for 6 years. Went to Bullard for a year and came back, and I think that was 2011, 2012 season, and I've been in Lufkin since ever since.
So, a lot of people know you as John Cobb, the baseball coach. You had a stint coaching football. You're a linebackers coach, correct?
I did. I coached in Corgan. I coached tight end or receivers, tight ends, and basically inside linebackers, defensive ends. And then at Lufkin, when Coach Outlaw passed away, I came back and I coached linebackers for 2 years for Coach Quick and Coach Stafford. And then I coached the defensive line for a year, and I went back to coaching linebackers for 2 more years.
How good were our linebackers back then?
They were okay. I think they were a group of kind of overachievers because they weren't real big. We didn't have really big linebackers at the time, but we had some good ones. And look at I see some of them out every now and then, and we reminisce and hug, and that's what I'm most proud of, because when they see me, they want to holler at me and scream at me kind of like I used to. Then they want to hug, and then we're gonna tell some war stories together.
So as you say that, they like to yell at you and do all the things you used to. Talk a little bit about how you've, changed in your coaching career. You've grown as a coach and as a man, and you've gotten a little softer. You're a little nice for these kids, and you still, the difference with the kids nowadays. You can't be the same John Cobb you used to be.
Yeah, you're right, because it's a different kid than it was 5, 6, 10 years ago. I don't know that I've mellowed out or I've gotten smarter and realized that today's generation can't handle that the way we used to coach and the way we used to do things. Like right now, what's this, Tuesday night? We scrimmaged 16 innings on Saturday and 8 innings last night, and only got upset 2 times in the whole 24 innings that we scrimmaged, and that was because we didn't swing at a hit and run.
Progress.
Different kids, different times.
10 years ago, we would have got off the bus. I'm sorry. We would have loaded the bus here and you scream. We would have got off the bus here and you scream. We would have warmed up here and you scream. We would have started the game here and you scream. But guess what? At the end of the day, we'd say how thankful we are for all those times and all those words we exchanged together, because it made us a better person today.
Well, yesterday we did. I got my blood pressure got a little up when we loaded the bus because we didn't load the bus correctly on our first time, and we had to take everything off the bus, and we're a little late and redo it. So there are still moments.
So, is there's a strategy to loading this bus?
Absolutely, you got to learn to travel. You got to be ready to get off the bus and get after somebody. If you're not, everything's not organized, and you're not locked in, you're not ready, focused, then you're not ready to play, and you're not going to win.
Yeah, that's very true. You practice like you play, you load the bus like you travel, and it all pays off when you get to those playoff games, and you keep everything in order. It surely has paid off for you. You've had a great career here in Lufkin. You've produced a lot of MLB talent. You've produced a lot of Division I, Division II JUCO talent. You've had some great teams over the year, and what's part of your program that you think gets your kids prepared to go play at the next level like you have?
Well, I think it starts in August on the first day. We practice nowadays since we have a field on campus, we practice every day during the school year. I mean, every day except for probably the month of November, we're on the field and we're doing something. And then the UIL gave us I think it was 2 years ago, the UIL gave us an hour of strength and conditioning outside the athletic period. And so we lift weights after school Monday, Wednesday, and then on Friday mornings before school. I think that gives us an advantage to where we're doing that year round. So we're getting skill development, skill acquisition, but also we're getting strength and conditioning during the entire time. And so we're taking advantage of what our situation is right now. And I think the combination of the strength training and the skill acquisition or the skill development, however you want to say it, I think it's producing some kids that are ready to play from both ends at the next level. And one of the cool things is we sent a lot of kids to JUCOs, and they advance on from the JUCOs. They don't wash out in the JUCO because they've been in a program to where they know what's expected of them. They know how to do things right, and they get after it. And then when you get to the JUCO, they're used to it, and they're not behind by any means, and they know how to take the coaches there.
With the lifting weights, is there a program that the baseball sticks to compared to football sticks to? I know you have the crossover between football and baseball. Where, what are we doing in the weight room that would be different? And because I know the new head coach and AD has talked about bringing in a strength and conditioning guy. Is he going to come in and tailor something for baseball?
Not for sure yet. We haven't talked on that. Yesterday or this morning was his actual first full day at Lufkin High School. But it's almost all the same except for the range of motion in the shoulders.
Yep.
And in season, so right now, we're in our in season workout mode to where we work out 3 days a week. Basically, it's around our scrimmage times. But when the spring break gets here and we're in our tournament, after our tournaments, we'll work out on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And it's kind of a more dynamic agility type stuff and range of motion with ropes, sledgehammers, med balls, water bags, and things like that.
Control wanted me to let you know he's shocked that you've changed your ways of coaching.
Yeah, Kentrell would be very disappointed in me if he came to one of our practices right now.
I know 10 to 12 years ago when I had my little run of getting to play for you, you preached arm care at an early age. And yeah. I remember the day we got all those bands and, you used to clip them to the fence and you used to tell, you might think I'm an idiot, but your arm's going to thank me later. You put an emphasis on arm care at a young age and at a time where, most schools didn't have the equipment we were blessed to have that you provided us with. And I saw a post from Thanksgiving break. You sent each kid home with an arm care bag. How important do you think it is taking care of the arm, no matter what position you play? Arm care is everything.
Absolutely. Because if you can't throw, you can't practice. And if you can't practice, you can't play. But, But with the arm care stuff, I just wrote an article for the Texas High School Coaches Association magazine about it. And then
so you're big time.
No, I'm not big time. But the emphasis of just doing the arm care year round, in which a lot of people don't believe in, we throw every day of the school year. Now, with that being said, when we throw, we're long tossing every day. and some kids will let it eat, some kids won't. But we dynamically warm up. We don't stand in a circle and just stretch. There's some. No, we're not doing that.
On a knee.
No, we're sweating before we ever start, like the bands or the hurdles or the ropes or the throwing socks and the things that we have. We're in a sweat, and then we throw. And last year we didn't have a single kid in the program miss any time with a sore arm or like a dead arm or anything. And then the year before last, we only had one kid that missed a little bit of time, like a week or a week and a half. And then right now we're really healthy too. We had held one kid out this weekend as just a precaution to make sure that we didn't injure him like for the long term, but we just keep him fresh or whatever, keep him healthy just as a precaution. But the arm care stuff, like we hired a couple of new coaches, and when they come in, they're just kind of big-eyed and they're just like, what is going on? Because it doesn't look like a traditional baseball practice at all.
Yeah. And I remember when you first started all those new changes and everything, and like your offseason program for once, like you went away from like the traditional baseball offseason, you were just going to run, you had us in there hanging. Remember the thing you have to get up there and I loved how you built the competition around the offseason program because it teaches your team how to work better together. You changed my body in that one offseason tremendously. I shed a lot of weight. You ran the piss out of us, but he put
changed
us in
it right
weight.
back right after, but it changed.
Yeah, I sit behind a desk for a living. Like it ain't much working out getting done. But you like the stuff you emphasize in the program, it translated to the field. I remember all those days on the track. Like instead of just running, we competed running. Competition was such a big thing inside our program in the off season. We had a competition day. You had us ready to come to off season and compete. It wasn't just we're going to come in here and Coach Cobb about to run the hell out of us. It was we enjoyed it because we got better and we grew into our bodies. Our bodies developed. They changed, and you had us ready to go into baseball season, train like an athlete.
Well, we still do a lot of that, but we're still doing more skill acquisition stuff than what we did then because we have a field on campus now, and it's also turf, so we don't miss any practice days. But in the month of November, we still dynamically warm up. We'll still throw or do our arm care and throw. But as soon as that's over, we're doing competition type stuff to where if you follow us on Twitter, I posted out there because I want people to see what we do. To where we are developing competitors. And I have a couple of buddies across the state that, I talked to them about it for a long time and they finally implemented it. And about the second time they ever did it, they're called and they're like, man, I don't know what we've been doing. I don't know why we haven't done this. This is great. You should have got me to do this earlier. And I was like, I'm trying to, but you can create competition inside your program to where you build competitors. And if you're competitive, you don't have to be the most talented kid out there. You can go out compete somebody and outwork them, and you'll turn the scoreboard around on teams that are more talented because you do play like that.
Yeah. How much? You said you have friends across the state. I know there's probably an annual coaches meeting you all get together, but how often throughout the year you guys talk and bounce around ideas off of each other, and have you taken anything from those guys?
Oh, yeah. I talk to the coach in College Station about every other day, probably, Chris Litton. I talk to him about every other day. I talk to the coach at Leander Rouse, Chad Crimpine, about once every 2 weeks. I'll talk to the coach at Prosper, Scott Holder, once or twice a week, like on the phone. But we're in a group text, and it's constantly, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? Hey, how do you do this? How do you teach that? And we share information, and I get mad sometimes because y'all see those bigger schools that have a little bit more success than us at a higher level, and they're using our stuff, and I'm like, man, that's our stuff. They're using it, and they're better at it than we are. Yep. And but that's just part of the sharing, and now because there's only a select few I'll actually talk baseball with because most people aren't outside the box. Yeah, kind of like I am the way I think, and when you talk to somebody who's inside the box and not outside with you, they think you're an idiot, but that's just part of it.
Before we get, transitioning talking about Lufkin baseball and the kids and everything, I want to ask you one thing. As far as your coaching mindset, like you said, you get out the box and, going back to 2016, 2015 in those days, the game of baseball was transitioning in a different way. And I'm not going to give your secrets and all that out, but you started using a lot of things that big colleges were using. And, it was weird. Like when you taught it to us, it was very weird. We were like, this ain't going to work. And you were able to provide kids in my size frame a chance to do things kids my size weren't supposed to be doing on the bases, and different things in there. Like you had some weird stuff, but it worked.
So like I said, it's like there's a box in the world of baseball, and most people are inside of that box. I'm way outside of that box and I think part of that is when I first got to Lufkin, we were in the district with the Woodlands and College Park, Oak Ridge, and like some of the Klein schools, and you had to figure out a way to compete just to make the playoffs in the district. And you couldn't do the traditional, hey, let's go take some ground balls, let's take some BP and go in there and compete. No, I mean, you had to figure out how to do things differently and how to gain an edge and gain an advantage. And I think that's what we've done over the years. I mean, with our base running, say, for example, this past weekend, I think we stole right at about 27 or 28 bases in 24 innings. And I think we got thrown out one time. But there's different things we do on the bases, different things we try to do arm care wise. I mean, you try to do what's best for your kids and give your kids an advantage over the people they're going to play, because I can promise you we're going to outwork people. And that's what it's all about.
So it's a 0-2 count, 3-2 count, 1-2 count. What is going through your mind as you're standing on third base? You have your hands with your pockets up. You fold them right here. Then you do your little walk and you turn your circle. And all right, let's go, kid. Let's go. You're sitting there talking to your kid and you give a sign, no telling what it is. And my hitter, it's right here and we're back and we're slashing. I'm not against it. I watched it last year. I watched it the last couple of years. I talked about you. It works. It obviously works. It shortens the swing up. I sat there and you can say me and Tyler Abbey did a lot of traveling with Lufkin baseball last year. So I watched a lot of it. What is up with the 3-2 count, 0-2 count slash? What's up with this?
It's two strikes. When you get two strikes, we slash. And we straight up stole it from Frisco Wakeland 3 years ago. The team that we had that was so good, we made it the fourth round. We were striking around 9 or 10 guys a game. And in the 3-game set, I only think we didn't strike out more than 4 of them per game. And I thought it ran our pitch counts up. And, we're in a pitch count era to where it affected us and we weren't able to win that series. And so we graduated a lot of talent. That was the team with Sam Flores, Hunter Disworth, Bebo Hinojosa, Chip Buchanan was on there, and so we had some boppers, and those guys, the pitchers that we face were the same as rephrase that. The batters that we faced were just the same as everybody else, but, we couldn't strike them out, and it was frustrating. And so I was like, hey, talk to their coach. We implemented it, and now we're in the third year of it to where I think we struck out. We were averaging 6.5 strikeouts per game, and now we're down to 3.4 strikeouts per game. So we're putting the ball in play three more times, which is another 4 innings.
Is it more of just getting the bat on the ball?
It shortens your swing, and it helps you stay down into your legs. Like last night in the scrimmage, Jaden Temez, who's our leadoff hitter right now in this year, we expecting to be there. He went down 0-2 and he fouled off 9 consecutive pitches.
Pitch count.
Yeah. So there's 11 pitches right there. You only got 99 more, right? In a game. And our dugout was just fired up with it happening. And their dugout's fired up. We're happy. We're celebrating, and their pitcher's getting frustrated. Their pitching coach is getting frustrated because they can't strike us out, or we haven't put a ball in play. We're just being a hard, difficult out. And that's what it's about.
Yeah. Like you said, if you're getting, say the MLB average of a ball put in play is like 300. It just is what it is. You have to hit the ball to get on base. And if you're doing that at that high of a clip, the pitch count goes up for the other team. And so you get one extra hit. that could be the difference, especially if you.
I know
without fans.
Saturday we had 4 hits off of it, and we only struck out 4 times in 16 innings Saturday, and then we struck out 3 times last night. I mean, that's pretty good considering. So, and another thing is that nowadays and age, kids aren't as mentally resilient as they have been in the past, and so they want to they're so negative. It's like they've never swung and missed at a ball, and they beat themselves up. And when they strike out, it's almost like the world's come to an end. But when they put the ball in play, they get over it quicker. And so that's kind of a byproduct of what we've seen, to where they're not as mentally down on themselves. So
for you as coaching in Lufkin, how easy was it, 10 years ago when you had, a team of guys, majority of your team is going to play Division I baseball. Majority of your team has played baseball at a high level their whole life. You didn't have to go in, and I'm sure you have to do this nowadays because, it's the kids are changing, obviously, and kids are developing at a later age. But you don't have to go through and teach these kids, a throwing motion, a fielding motion, a hitting motion. When you got Colt Wynn out there playing second base for you, Chris McFarland playing shortstop, your job is easier, correct?
Well, yeah, with those two in the lineup, Kentrell batting in the 2-hole and Cody Cheshire batting the leadoff. That's a pretty good lineup. And then you had Taylor Hudgens in there too. That's pretty salty 1 through 5.
Yeah,
might be one of the best ever 1 through 5s come through.
That's something I wanted to ask you about. I remember all those games, like CJ Anahos, all those guys. People don't realize Lufkin was playing the top of the notch talent.
Oh yeah.
I remember being in Kingwood in 2011 or somewhere, Lufkin versus Klein Collins. Mm-hmm. And, they got 6 kids going to play Division I. We got 6 kids going to play Division I. And your biggest thought of that game is all right, who do I throw tonight? Do I throw Tyler at him? Do I throw Gandy at him? Do I throw Brigham at him? You had so much depth. And I don't know if this is true. I remember Contrell telling me that, they kind of made their own batting order.
I remember that.
That's what he told me.
I know this. Kentrell batted in the 2-hole, and Colton was in the 3, McFarland was in the 4, and Hudgens was in the 5. And I saw some stats, I think, last year, and I want to say Taylor Hudgens had 9 home runs that year. I mean, we were swinging.
How long did it take him to get around the bases, you think?
Well, let me tell you this, okay? He is one of the slowest kids I've ever coached. But in the second round, if you remember, we played Pflugerville in Mumford. All right,
that's when they had that stadium was super nice.
Yeah, and it was the only playoff game in the state that year because nobody had turf at that point in time on a baseball field. And I remember it was game 2. It was game 2, and Hudgens hit a single to left field, and I'm coaching first base, and he comes flying out of the box as fast as he could. The left fielder goes down and fields the ball on the knee, and Hudgens just keeps on going to second base. And I'm like, no. He slides into second base. He is safe. And that took all the wind out of them. There was they had no more momentum. They were done. And I give that base running speech every year to my kids. If the slowest kid I've ever coached can do that, you can do it too.
He was pretty slow.
Oh, he was. Oh, I guarantee you ran an 8.8 to 9 flat 60.
He was a hell of a catcher, and he was a teammate. I remember being there, and it was against Klein Oak. I forgot where they played at. It was their last. They got beat out, and we lost the first game, and everybody was bickering. And Taylor Hudgens came out that dugout, and he just lit a fire under everybody. His whole team. He just fired them up. This ain't over,
His last game, if you remember, he had to take him. He got dehydrated in the doubleheader. We took him out of the game, and he went to the hospital.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was.
Well, Coach, going back to last season, and you had a great team. You had Cooper Knight. You had Grant Stafford. You had
Caleb Hillis, Austin Lindsay.
You had Austin
Hernandez.
Lindsay. You had a team, and those kids played well together. They fought hard, and they did a lot of things right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Go back to talk about just the start of that season and the end point.
Well, I can tell you this: the turning point for that group was in November. we were playing like a ground ball game. I probably don't need to say too much of this, but we were playing a ground ball game, and we're going to head to the stadium to run bleachers, right? Because it's November, it's kind of our off season, and all they were doing was griping and complaining about me making these calls in this ground ball game. And the old Coach Cobb came out at me, and I lost my mind. And we had a come to Jesus meeting right then and there. And I mean, so the next day they showed up, and I took the Joe Rogan podcast, was it, where they said, not Joe Rogan, the Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah.
David Goggins.
Navy SEAL guy, where he's like, good, hey, I woke up this morning, I'm broke, good. Woke up this morning, there's 100 enemy guys over there, good. And everything was based off good, like, hey, things aren't going my way, good. And so I think I printed out about 50 copies of just the word good. And I posted them all over the baseball complex in November. All right. And everything, they would complain, and it was good. We said good probably 150, 200 times a day. And we got to the scrimmages, and Caleb Hillis broke his hamate bone. He's our number one and best hitter at the time. And the whole thing was good. And we were able to overcome, and those kids bought into that, and they just fought their butts off tooth and nail and gave us a chance to win the third round. We should have won the third round game in game 3. We just had it, let it slip through our hands. And but we went from being picked 4th in district to winning the district with that group, and everything was just like they were able to get over any negative or any bad stuff that happened to them. And it basically that day in November was just the turning point of the season for them.
So you win district, we get to the playoffs, and you march your way through playoffs, and then you get the Bullet, Texas, and we're playing against Forney.
Mm-hmm.
And
that round 4, round 3,
round 3, because
round 3, yeah.
So we lose. Go ahead.
Yeah, you lose game 1. I remember me and Tyler Abbey got off work, we gassed up, and we're rolling through Jacksonville, and we're like, man, I got a good and I got a bad feeling about this. And we're talking and we're going back and forth, and everybody's heard about Forney. They had a beat one. And our kids didn't back down.
What is he doing?
Where are you doing?
I had to plug my computer up, it was about to die. But they had the catcher ends up getting hurt pregame, right?
Yeah.
He jumped up to catch a ball, came down on his ankle wrong.
Sure did.
And they had a student section that had all these buckets. They came prepared like they're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And our kids didn't bat an eye.
Oh, yeah. So part of that, there's some resiliency. We talk about that, but that in 2009 when we played Socorro, and everybody showed up with a Home Depot bucket and a stick, and they were beating on it. But we talk about it pretty often. And if you remember, we lose game 1. And they've got their dude. He's an A&M commit.
He's an A&M commit. That's all I'm hearing. He's an A&M commit. And Cobb's just sitting there, run his pitch count up.
Yes. I mean, and like that night before is like the theme was good. Good. Like good. We lost game 1. Austin Lindsay was, he was so mad at me because he didn't pitch in the first 2 rounds. He basically, we had 1A, 1B, and 1C at that point in time. And we were 3 rounds deep. He hadn't pitched. And I said, if we lose game 1, you're in. You're the competition champion. You're our competition champion. I said, well, if we lose game 1, you got the ball. I looked at him that night. I said, you got the ball. Good. And he went out there and absolutely shoved. And we won 1-0. And
and we were walking out the stadium, and their fans were talking just all this yada, 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 yada. And they were mad. I don't think they had ever been beat by some kids like us. Our kids never backed down from them. They did everything in their power, from the parents to the student section to their own players to try to make us back down. And we just kept firing at them.
Well, I think a lot of people perceive us as kind of some rednecks from the sticks or some country bumpkins from the sticks. I think that's how a lot of people view us, because we're not in a major city. We're not close to a major city. except for some of the coaches, and the coaches know, they know what type of program we have. They know what kind of baseball staff we have. But I think some people that, they get 4 years of high school and you have adults and they don't know anything about Lufkin, really, or Lufkin baseball. And I just think they take it for granted, and they don't know what to expect.
We breed some dogs from the
yeah.
tennis courts to the cross country to the football field to the baseball field. We got some dogs.
Yeah, we do, and I love that mentality, and that's why I still coach in East Texas.
So we get to Longview, last game of the series, win or go home, and we absolutely come to play. It looks like it's going our way. Trey was getting engaged that day, and I'm sitting there with Casey Bowers and Matt and I, and I'm feeling confident about, I'm about to just get on the road and go home early, listen to Nasty, and something, happens, and I end up just staying for the whole ball game. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, well, we just didn't make plays when we needed to. We could have made a play on a line drive, and then we misplayed a fly ball, and then we misplayed a bunt, and you just can't do have that many miscues in a game of that magnitude of game 3 against a team of that quality.
You as a coach, what's your longevity in coaching? What did you learn from that game?
Oh, well, I second guess myself in that game more than any game I've ever coached in my life. I know I make mistakes in the middle of the game a lot, especially on the bases, me giving steal signs and things like that. But I second guess my managing of that game more than any game that I've ever coached in my life. And I wake up almost every morning, and before I get out of the shower, I think about, me screwing up the Forney game and kind of letting the group of kids down that have never get another shot at it. And that's what pains me the most, is I feel like I let those kids down a little bit in that game, and the way I managed it, to where we should have not pitch ran for a guy. We should have brought in another guy to close it out. We should have pitch hit for a guy there in a situation, and didn't do that.
Ball hit in front of you.
Yeah, that's right. Guess what we practiced today in practice? Guess what we went over?
Ball hit in front of you.
Yep.
Back.
Brought up the same situation. So,
man, that was a hard game,
Yeah.
for me. I don't know why, but I just really care. And
I love to hear really care.
Me and Tyler Abney love some Lufkin sports. They don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, playoff ball. We're there. We're leaving work early, and we're there. But you as a coach, it's big to hear you say, I messed up. Because you got a lot of coaches that don't say, I messed up. The kids messed up.
There's nothing worse than a coach that thinks he's never wrong. It's just not acceptable. But I fully take the responsibility of that, and that's my whole thing. Is you'll never have that group of kids back together. I feel like I let those kids down, and I feel like part of it is like we let the city of Lufkin down because we're going to win the next round. I don't know if we'd have beat Lucas Lovejoy in the 5th round in the regional finals to go to Austin, but we could have had a chance to play them and make it to Austin.
We would have beat them. Coach Cobb, going into the 2025 season, you take a chance on a young kid, Colton Eberlin, to be your pitching coach. And Colt's been a pitcher his whole life. If you don't know that, Mark Eberlin had him ready to go pitch in the majors at 12 years old.
I remember him at 12.
Mentally, Colton Eberlin he's probably heard everything in the book that you don't want to hear as a 12-year-old kid, but it made him a dog on the mound, and he's also a great person. How hard was it for you to take a chance on a young kid like him to come to a successful program like Lufkin that's produced the type of pitchers we produced in the past at 25 years old?
It wasn't hard at all because he pitched for us, and he didn't have the greatest velo, but he found ways to get people out. And then he goes to Laterno and still didn't have the greatest velo. And I still think he has I'm pretty sure he still has the school record for saves and maybe appearances in Laterno history. And if he's able to get people out at the collegiate level with the stuff that he had, that's great because he's going to be able to bring that here and implement that with our kids who might not have the greatest stuff. So he's going to teach those kids how to compete. You might not have the best stuff, how to compete with and get people out, and be successful with it. We talked to our pitchers today about throwing strikes or whatever else, and I said we have the best defense in the state of Texas right now. And I said, let's use our defense, pound the zone and throw strikes, and we'll figure out the rest as we go.
Don't give the hitters too much credit. Make them
That's right.
hit the ball. Yeah, that's Colton. Can't say enough stuff about him.
It's the rule of 64. 64% of all balls put in play are outs.
Yep,
it's true. Me and Trey got a chance to come out Saturday and watch you scrimmage Hudson and Huntington, and your pitching staff did a great job. Well, y'all's pitching staff did a great job. You threw a lot of young arms. You gave a lot of young kids a chance to show what they had. And what did that show you going into the season that these young kids are ready? They're ready to compete. It looks like.
Well, right now we're just. We threw 9, 12. We threw 13 guys Saturday and Monday, and I'm going to give kids chances, and you're going to have to prove to me that either A, you can pitch, or A, you can hit, or whatever, or B, you can't. And then I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you got, who your family is, or anything. But whoever's going to go out there and give us the best opportunity to win consistently is going to be the person in the lineup. And you don't ever know who that might be from year to year, or how somebody's grown up over the summer, or how important it's become. So you just keep running them out there and giving them opportunities. And that's what it's all about, I think.
What's your take on summer ball? Kids, you see a lot of kids playing summer ball now. Everybody plays summer ball now. When we were coming up, only a few kids played summer ball. It wasn't, what everybody did.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like an evil necessity, but I also think it's become a money grab to where people are trying to make money and exploit kids and make money off kids, to where you got people who, it costs, $5,000 to play on a team or whatever else. Well, not everybody can afford that. And lots of kids get left out. And I don't agree with that, but, they still need to play some sort to get that hand-eye skill, because you can't play the game of baseball without the hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. With the kid coming in, do you prefer a kid to only play baseball growing up, or is it, hey, go play whatever? Because all that's going to do is add value to
the more sports they can play growing up, the better off they're going to be athletically. So the better you are, the better athlete you are, the more you're able to adapt. Say, for example, I got one right now, Adam Holden. All right, he played football, right? And he come out after football was over, or he stayed in athletics until the very first
track, powerlifting.
Yeah, and then he would come out, and it would take him about 2 to 3 weeks to get caught up to everybody. But since he was such a good athlete, he was able to catch up and get going. Trey Odom was another one. Yep. You got two great athletes to where they didn't play baseball year round. They played football. They were successful in football. And once they got caught up, they were pretty successful in baseball too.
Carrington.
Yeah, Adam also wanted me to give him a shout out today.
So one thing I like that y'all are doing now, y'all implemented a Lufkin middle school baseball program. How big do you think it is as a baseball coach to be able to have your hands on those kids in the middle school level? And you're very involved with the youth level, so they're doing stuff the way you like it to be done when they get to high school and they're ready to go.
Now, it kills me. It wears me out, because from about 7:30 on Monday to 4 o'clock on Friday, I work about 80 to 85 hours in that week in the fall. Because we have the practice on Monday and then they play on Thursdays, but then we got a high school fall league on Tuesday nights.
Shout out Tyler Abney.
Yeah, Tyler Abney is one of our coaches. And then I coach my daughter's soccer team on Wednesday nights and on Saturdays. But it keeps those kids from transferring. Once we make the contact with them in the 7th and 8th grade, they've stopped transferring out of Lufkin ISD. Because, they play for us, and the way we have it set up is they can play baseball and they can play football at the same time. And it doesn't take anything away from one sport or the other. And I'm encouraging them, hey, you play football, play basketball, and play the baseball part of it. But the thing that it does, we don't get a lot out of it. We get a little out of it, just enough, but it it has prevented kids from transferring out early to the local towns. But also, we're starting to get kids transferring in just to play it,
Yep.
and that's
if you're watching this show right now and you have a kid coming up, send that kid to Lufkin, put him in football, toughen him up, let him go to football. I don't care if they played baseball their whole life at a young age. Your kid is not going. You can't predict your kid's going to the MLB at 9 years old. He's not going to get hurt playing football at what are they, 13 years old because he's a baseball player. Put your kid in football at Lufkin Middle School. Let these coaches build these kids up and get them prepared to go to high school. Now, if you get to high school and you choose you're not a football player, okay, we get it. You're in high school now. But do not take these kids to Hudson and Huntington. I'm nothing against these programs. I think they're doing a phenomenal job at these schools. But Lufkin's going to offer your kid football. Huntington offers football, obviously. But you're going to get coaching from John Cobb, Tyler Abney, Colton Everlin, the guy that just moved over from NAC. You're going to get some top-tier coaching at a young age. And I just love Lufkin. Send your kids to Lufkin. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it that how many kids live in Lufkin and they choose to go to Hudson. They choose to go other places. If your kid is scared of competition, get them out of the program. Send them somewhere else because we don't want them here. We want guys that are going to come in. Yeah, we got 20 more kids and these small school kids do playing baseball. But teach your kids to compete. Teach them to, get in there and fight for what they want. Because one thing I'll tell you, I made a mistake in high school, and I look back at it, and it was a horrible decision I made doing what I did. But I learned from it. You don't go in there and just have that mindset that, okay, Coach Cobb has 3 catchers. I need to send my kid somewhere else. Your kid might end up being a pitcher. He might end up being a shortstop. You don't know what your kid is at 12, 13, 14 years old. Not everybody's going to be Kyle. Yeah, not everybody's going to be Kyle Lovelace and know he's a catcher at 7 years old. He's going to be the catcher. Everybody's not that kid. You don't know what your kid's going to be until he grows into his body and learns baseball.
Yeah. I mean, look at Trey Hensley. I mean, not Trey Hensley. Look at Reed Hensley. We didn't even throw him in high school, and he's pitching in Oklahoma now. We didn't have anybody to catch him, but when he did pitch, but he was a Division I catcher, a Division I catcher, went to Incarnate Word to catch, and now he's at Oklahoma pitching. That's exactly right. You never know how it's going to turn out. You never know how people are going to develop.
Yep.
No, I see kids playing catcher at 9, 10, 12 years old that, are going to have a chance to go play center field because they're athletes. Mm-hmm. You never know. And that I hate to hear parents to say, well, my kid's not a pitcher. You don't know what your kid is. Has he been taught to be a pitcher? Has he been taught the correct way to throw strikes?
Another example is Austin Lindsay. Last year, we pitched him. He never pitched until he got to middle school, which we only let you
pitching in college.
He's pitching at Hill right now, and he's probably going to be their closer as a freshman. Didn't pitch very much as a freshman. Pitched a little bit as a sophomore. We threw him a little bit more as a junior. And then senior year, he's just the dude
shoving.
Yeah, now he's at Hill he going into after his meetings from in December when he left to come home or whatever. And then he's going to go back in January. Like, he's slated to be their closer as a freshman.
And that's another thing, parents. Just because your kid's not committing to A&M, who else is out there? Vanderbilt, Florida. JUCO baseball produces some of the best players and the biggest dogs you'll ever see on a baseball field.
Nowadays, I don't think anybody should go to a Division I school out of high school. I do not. No, I just don't think you should do it. I mean, Cooper, like talking to Cooper Knight, I talked to him Sunday night, and he's at Angelo State, which is the defending national champion. Or 2 years ago, they won it. The defending or the Division II College World Series, right? Well, the guy they moved him over to third base, and the guy in front of him is 25 years old.
Yeah,
that's like a senior playing against a 7th grader.
Yeah,
in our world.
That's Reed set foot in the weight room the first time in Incarnate Word. He was freshman catcher. They bring in a JUCO transfer catcher that is a junior, who's 21 years old. Reed's like, yeah, get down to do some dumbbell presses. And I pick up like 60s to warm up. This guy lays down, picks up hundreds, and just reps it out. He goes, I feel like I didn't belong. I was like, what? Reed, that's a man. That's a man. You're 18 still. You'll figure it out in the next 2 years.
Yeah, with the NIL with the way the NIL stuff is and the transfer portal and all that, like,
And the more eligibility.
Yeah, like Division I is not the way to go.
So one thing Lufkin's always been blessed with, we've been blessed with a great youth baseball program. Bud Maddox, all the guys that coached us growing up, Trey's dad, Max's dad, all those guys. But you have guys like Chase Luce, Hall Henderson, Scotty West, Mr. Haglund, all these guys, putting their time. These guys got jobs. Yeah. But they're dedicating their time to coaching their kids and being out there during the summer because they're playing deep in the summer now. What do you think has changed in Lufkin, as far as so many kids wanting to play baseball now? Because, growing up, everybody didn't play baseball. It wasn't something everybody did. But nowadays you see more kids getting involved in T-ball and, playing their whole way up and wanting to play baseball in high school now.
I think part of that up to the 12-year-olds, of course, now our 11 and 12-year-old league is the biggest one that we have. And I think because that 17 team made a trip to Williamsport, like everybody's chasing that. Yep. And I help Bud coach the 12-year-olds during the summer. Like in the mornings, I'll go out there and help Bud coach. And I love it. Like I love being around Bud and just being out there with him. It's me, Hunter Ditzworth, and Nick Mosley. And
yeah, this summer I was walking into South First Street to pick up some food to take to the office. And here comes Bud in that van, and he has Hunter Ditzworth and Nick Mosley loaded up in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and Nick's playing softball for us.
Yes.
In the summer, not Nick Mosley. He didn't play summer softball with us, I promise you, if you listen. But, I'm like walking out. I'm like, what are y'all doing? And he's like, Bud's got us coaching these kids. And I'm like, y'all are basically going around the world again, doing what y'all did. Y'all were the kids one day, and now Bud has y'all out here in the summer, and he has that cane, the baseball bat cane, and he's like, "Come on, boys, we got to hurry up, eat. We got to get out of here."
It's hilarious to listen to Mosley and Disworth. They'll start complaining about something the kid's doing or whatever else, and I'm just sitting over there just laughing, and they're like, "What?" I said, "You used to do the same exact thing, and I used to play in the same exact way."
Yep.
Dude, you really did a good job with these kids in the past. They are some great young men, and you have a lot of kids playing baseball at the next level, going to college and playing. And a lot of these kids
sat
are
down
listening.
And counted that up? Because as we talk about it, there's just more and more that come to my head, like that you've coached that have touched grass at a JUCO or Division I program.
I've never
baseball at the next level.
I've got 4 or 5 of them texting me right now, so I know they're watching.
Yeah.
Like Sam Flores wants Jalen to respond to his text messages that he's sending him right now.
Hey,
Adam Holden's over here blowing me up still. So I've got a couple of coaches that are watching it. But
you should be proud.
I've never added it up. I'm just more kind of worried about, like, at some point in time that they're just good people. And, because our kids that we coach in baseball, that we have in baseball, like if they do come back to Lufkin after they're done with college or whatever, they're the leaders of our community. Like they're the pillars of our community.
Yeah, we left our jobs last year, came and played an alumni game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, or you might end up being the song leader for the Lions Club. Yeah. Things like that. I'll be at Lions Club next Tuesday.
I'll be there next Tuesday. I didn't get to make it today, but I'll be there next Tuesday for sure. I had to stay and work through my lunch today, but I will be there next week.
I'm going to bring the new athletic director with me too.
He's going to get to listen to me sing. Coach Cobb, 2025 baseball season is almost here. We've already started scrimmaging. We're getting ready for all the tournaments and stuff we have going on. What do we got? What can we expect this year, from these kids coming up, getting to play?
Well, we had a lot. We lost a lot last year, and we got 9 seniors this year. We've got a bunch of young kids on the field. We're trying to figure out who our pitchers are going to be. That's why we played 24 innings this past weekend. We threw 2 freshmen. We threw a whole bunch of sophomores, a bunch of juniors, a couple of seniors. I think, knock on wood, I think we'll be decent at the plate. I think we're going to run the basics extremely well. I think we're going to play great defense. how we do overall over the course of the season is going to depend on our pitching. And we've got to develop there. And that's the reason we have 6 scrimmages to get those opportunities to those kids and, get them out there in the fire and get them going a little bit. And so we're not picked to make the playoffs by the Texas High School Baseball, which is that's part of it because the other teams in our district bring back a lot. We don't bring back any pitching basically. But this is the hardest working group of kids that I've ever had. I mean, today we did nothing but situational hitting, and then we worked out, and man, they got after it today. Today was the first hot day that we've had, like weather-wise, and they're just pouring in sweat, drenched, and they worked through it and just got after it today. And if they'll just continue to work and kind of can believe in themselves, eventually it's going to pay off, and good things are going to happen to this group.
Well, I don't know a lot of these kids personally, but I know Grant Stafford pretty well, and I knew at a young age he was going to be a baseball player. The kid was an athlete at like 5 years old. He was, him and Will would be sitting there. We'd be playing wall ball, and he was slinging the ball, at the old baseball park right by the coaches. Was that y'all's office right there? Yeah. So umpires, everything. He was slinging the ball at the wall like at 5 and 6 years old. He could run, and we're going to be covering him a lot because we know him really well, and we know a lot of the other kids. But what do you think an impact is going to be for him? He's a junior. He's not a senior yet, and he's a sophomore. Sophomore, yeah. God, you got him 2 more years. Grant started as a freshman. He played a big role. He played shortstop. He pitched. He played second base a little bit too, but he pitched for you. He played outfield for you sometimes if you needed him. What can we expect for him to bring to the table this year?
Well, we need more out of him offensively this year. We last year our lineup was kind of built differently than what I think our lineup's going to be this year. So we have him in the 2-hole right now to let him kind of more free swing. I'm not a believer in having the 2-hole bunt very much. Remember when we had Davis Powell, he hit in the 2-hole starting as a sophomore and hit there as a junior and a senior. But
is he still at Texas State?
Last year was his last year. Because he went 3 years at Grayson and 2 years at Texas State. But just and him, we had the conversation the other day. It said, "Hey, you're batting the 2-hole. We've got a traditional leadoff hitter right now in front of you that's going to work the count. Try to get on base, and when he doesn't get on the base, he does a really good job working the count." I said, "You got the opportunity of hitting in the 2-hole to go up there and free swing more now than you did last year, especially with batting in the 3-hole." It's a little bit different because you need to be more of a complete hitter. Now, hey, we got Tamez on base, and we can hit and run with you. You can hit it backside.
Let's move some runners around.
Let's put some guys in motion. Also, him being left-handed, he'll be able to hit that pull side hole a lot. Mm-hmm. So we just got to get the guy in front of him on base and let him do his work. But the other part of it, do what?
Go ahead.
But the other part of it is we've got to have somebody hit behind him, kind of to balance out our lineup. Right now, we're trying to find that guy. Hopefully, it's Jace Camp, and then we got Jack Bowers kind of in the 4-hole right now, and I don't know.
He smoked the ball Saturday on that first baseline. I mean, we were sitting right behind plate, and that ball just came off flying, and he turned the wheels on.
Like if he stays in his approach and doesn't expand the zone, he's worked so hard, and I didn't think he would ever become this good of a hitter, but he has worked so hard this fall and this spring to where you could just see it like, hey, he's going to have success. And he went out there Saturday and went to work. The previous Saturday we had an inter squad, and I think he was 6 for 8 with six hits. So
a lot of these guys are basically going to have to step up. The young guys are going to have to step up in the bullpen. Everybody's going to have a key role this year.
Mm-hmm. So right now, like pitching wise, I like if we had to start the season today, I couldn't tell you who our number 1 would be, but we have a lot of arms that we're running out there, and I think we would literally staff the games to where you got one time through the lineup, and after the 9th guy, we're pulling you. If you can get through 3 innings, great. If you can get through 2, good, great. But I think that's how we're going to play it right now. just to see how it plays out.
I don't know the kid's name, but he's pitched Saturday in the scrimmage. So he gives up 2 hits, I believe. I think he juiced the bases with 1 out.
Mhm.
He got up there and he just fought his way out of it. Didn't give up the run. You know what I'm talking about? It was early in the scrimmage against Hudson.
Was it the very first pitcher we threw?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's Sam Fitzgerald. He's a freshman.
No. It wasn't him.
Then
It wasn't Saran.
Casey Greer was the second. We threw 2 freshmen back to back, and I wanted to see how they were. I wanted to see how they handled it because I was talking to them in the dugout trying to make them nervous, and then they go out there and of course they were nervous because they're freshmen, first time at the new stadium and everything, and then maybe Miggy Flores, did he strike a guy out on a 3-2 curveball?
Yeah, it was Julio's little brother.
Yeah, that's exactly who it was.
Yeah. That's who it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for him to show some emotion, I was fired up.
He came off the mound screaming. That's what it was.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. When you throw a 3-2 curveball for a strike with the bases loaded and 2 outs, yeah, I mean that's what it's all about.
Good.
You're going to get I'm going to give you another opportunity.
Yeah.
So going through our schedule this year, it's the same teams we've always played. You're going to play Hallsville. You're going to play Huntsville. You're going to play all those guys. What do you? White House. White House always got a baseball program. What can we look forward to fight our way through this district and get to where we want to be? And that's obviously getting to the playoffs. I know a lot of, like you said, Texas high school baseball doubted us making the playoffs this year. What can we see?
Who was picked in front of us?
I'm sure Hallsville, White House, Texas High, and then Huntsville.
Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant.
But they all they bring back arms, I think, and that's why they picked them up in front of us. So what can we expect to what?
Get us to that playoff run.
Well, I can tell you right now, if these kids keep working like the way they are, I mean, getting after it, we got a chance to make the playoffs. But we've got to take care of the teams that we have to, like we know we can beat. We got to take care of them. And then we've got to steal a couple from others. The other thing is our schedule. We have 3 Saturday district games. And so
at home?
I don't know. I can't remember. But you're playing, there's 3 different weeks in a 7-week season to where we're playing 4 games in 7 days. So we're going to need the arms that we have in order to maneuver or kind of to work through the lineups or the games that we have. And we might take it on the chin a couple of games, but we've still got to win those other games that we're supposed to win.
So basically,
you got. Sorry, it looks like.
No, go ahead.
White House at White House. Nacogdoches in Lufkin, JT in Tyler, and then Hallsville and Lufkin, all in 7 days.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like our first year in Lufkin in 2005. We literally had, I think we were on an 18-game count then. And so we literally had a district game every Tuesday, Friday, Saturday of the year. And that was a beatdown that year.
Like you said, you graduated a lot of kids. Therefore, who can we see in the field? If we're looking to play tomorrow, our first district game, we got Bowers behind the plate, Camp at third, Stafford at second.
Well, behind the plate, we're going to go with Bowers and Skylar Perez, who's a sophomore.
I've heard a lot about him.
But because I'm just scared that catching 4 games in 7 days, it's going to be a beatdown. We got to have Bowers as bad in the lineup, and when he sits or doesn't catch, we can DH him, to try to keep him fresh over the course of the year and keep his bat going. So we'll go with those 2 back there. Chase Camp, he played third base for us last year. And he is really, really good defensively. Like, he's got a chance to be one of the best defensive third basemen we've ever had. And then
he hit that walk-off in Hallsville last year, didn't he? Or he hit the go-ahead. He hit the go-ahead run in the playoffs last year.
Yes, he sure did. Yeah,
I remember that. That was a big game right there.
Yeah, and then Grant's at short, and Max Slayton will be at second. And
then Slayton,
we'll have to slide him over to shortstop when Stafford pitches. And then Francisco Serrano, who played first base last year, he's going to pitch. He's going to play first. And like when Grant pitches, we'll move Camp to second base, Serrano to first, and then excuse me,
Bowers third.
Damian Diaz will play first, and then and then we got Jaden Temez in center field, and we're trying to. Our positions that are really up for grabs right now are kind of our corner spots to see who's going to take them. We've got Dylan Fussell out there with Sam Fitzgerald, and then in right field we'll have Ryan Rasmussen along with Demarie Rodriguez. They're all kind of fighting for spots right now, and we're getting to those guys as many of the bats as we can. And then also we got Casey Greer that's kind of in the mix, so we're just looking for somebody to step up and take those spots.
I saw D-Ray get up there and hit a leadoff single for you this Saturday, and he's quick on the bases.
Oh, yeah, Temez can go. But last night against Hudson, he led the game off. He went down 0-2 and then fouled off 9 consecutive pitches.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the lineup that is Sam and Reed tied for 3 home runs? Is that it?
Is what?
Is Sam and Reed tied for 3 home runs?
Oh, no, Sam took the lead. I think Sam hit 5 his senior year, or 6 his senior year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there anybody that's going to press on that a little bit?
Oh, no. We'll probably hit 2 or 3, maybe 4 home runs this year. You know, we need it to heat up and get the southeast wind blowing so we can hit some at home.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
How are you liking that new stadium?
I love it. We have a field on campus, and it's turf.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't miss much practice time.
No more taking ground balls in the indoor.
No, forget that. Taking ground balls in the parking lot of Morgan Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're screaming, stay in front of the ball.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No.
I think it was coming to mock Jesus, hit a rock, and you'd lose an eyeball.
Be all right.
Made you tough, right?
That's right.
Well, Coach Cobb, we thank you for everything you do for Lufkin baseball in the community, and going back at the early ages of Little League baseball, moving up to the middle school and getting these kids prepared to come play for you in high school. And we wish you nothing but a great season this year. And I'm sure we'll have you back on here again during the season, and we'll do our playoff shows. And we look forward to those, having you on here talking. And these kids really take a liking to you. I never forget, when I moved back and all these kids are like, yeah, we love Coach Cobb. I'm like, y'all do what? We love Coach Cobb. I'm like, you go ask anybody that played for us. Yeah, we loved him, but it was a love-hate relationship with the man because he absolutely worked our butts. But I'm glad to see you building a great program and having the success you are. But
yeah, somehow everybody just tells me how big of a hard ass I am, and then all the time that's all you hear, and I'm like, no, not really. I mean, all you gotta do is just work hard and do your job.
You softened up a little bit over the years.
Oh yeah, when like some of those kids come back to practice, it's just because we have that alumni week, basically the week before Christmas break, and all those guys come back and hang out, and then you'll have a coach's office full of there'll be anywhere from 5 to 10 kids in the coach's office, and they don't want to go home, and all they want to do is just tell stories about you. And I'm like, no, it's like they can't remember anything. Reed came back this year, and every day Reed told a different story. It's like, Reed, do you have any college baseball stories? He goes, no, not really. It's all about high school.
This past weekend, you asked a kid, he got Cade, and you instead of just meeting him halfway there, give him that walk and that chewing, did you slash? And he's like, yes, sir. And you're like, all right, good, all right.
I thought I missed it. I mean, a part of that also is, you're showing your teammates that this is a team at bat. This is what it's about. It's not about me anymore. I'm going to sacrifice myself for the good of the team. We talk about that a lot. Like nobody's too good to do it.
That's big.
Yeah, it helps with team chemistry.
Before we let you go, you got anything to say to the kids that you've graduated or are getting ready to go start their college baseball season, some at the Division I, Division II, and JUCO level?
I talk to a lot of them, a lot more than what people know and what people think. And try to just, especially the young guys, because they're usually sitting, they're not playing right now, and you just try to keep them. Hey, you're going to get your turn. Just keep working. That guy's older than you. He's more experienced than you. The coach has seen him play. You're just going to have to bide your time and just keep working.
Trust me, we've
And
heard
when you
all
get-
about it. Cooper Knight's running live from the Pines now, and he's telling me, he's like, I got a guy at third base that's 26 years old. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this guy's a man.
Yeah. So I mean, it's out there. You just got to keep working and don't doubt yourself. Don't get frustrated with it because that's kind of the way the process is. It's rare for a freshman to go in at any level and start. Unless you're at a freshman like a JUCO and it's freshman sophomore and they had a big sophomore turnover.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Cobb, thank you for coming on live from the Pines tonight. Like I said, again, we wish you nothing but the best this season. We look forward to having you back on the show. I think we're going backdoor and get Coach Everlin on the show and let us hear him talk about his pitching staff and his upcoming 2025 baseball season. We can't wait to hear him and all the good things he has to say.
Yeah, you need to do that.
See if he can confirm those save numbers.
We're going to do it.
We need to get a gun. We need to get a gun club podcast going.
Man, Wednesday night at the Gun Club, you know how those nights end, and we're not going to go there. But I love the Gun Club. I thank you for inviting us out there. But live from the Pines, we like where we record at. It's got air conditioning. We can go to bed at an early time.
Yeah.
But shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts, Austin Brown and the guys. We thank y'all for everything y'all do for Live from the Pines. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders. That again, PINES936, ZilkerBelts.com. Give those guys a chance and go get one of those belts. You'll have some style to your game. And get ready to support the Lufkin Panthers. Get out there. Come watch the guys. I know we have the streaming service. We're thankful for it. But, it's nothing better than packing that stadium and us getting to sit back there in right field and get to cheer on our Lufkin Panthers.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
You have a great night, Coach Cobb.
All right, we'll see